Welcome to Chalk Talk. Robert, Dad of the Year, playing Mr. Mom there. I'm Andy Billman, drinking my almond milk here. Pick up your sticks. We should be talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They made an excellent trade today that I think is going to propel them to possibly win big things, including, dare I say, the NBA Finals. This DeAndre Hunter trade is the missing one that's been – how can you not? He's been the wing we've been wanting. The Cavs have always been a wing short since LeBron left, and he is a wing. And he can shoot, and he can move without the ball, and he plays defense. Yep. Oh, my fucking God. It is like everything's fitting together. They gave up Niang and Levert, but it made sense in second rounders. It is so exciting. I'm so excited about the Cavs. And my son and I were just drooling about it.
That was great. I mean, and it was great. Real quick, we didn't give up Okoro. We didn't give up Tyson. I mean, that was great. You knew Levert was going to be gone after this year. I mean, Niang. So you got to give Altman props because I thought he did a great job. Props to him.
And it kept under the tax with this trade. They're now under the tax, so they don't get hit with any luxury tax.
And I think everyone sit tight. We're gonna get a big. Somebody's gonna get bought out. Something's gonna happen. We're gonna get a big somewhere. Niang wasn't we're gonna get a big somewhere along the line.
Would not be surprised. There's two openings. Levert's gonna stay, and he's never coming back. Hearing already rumblings. Niang might get bought out. Wouldn't be surprised if Niang might come back. But we'll see.
I heard that.
It's a long shot, but I don't see Niang staying in Atlanta.
Cody Zeller. Did you hear Cody Zeller? He may get bought out.
I'm not a Cody Zeller guy, but yes, I've heard that name. I'm not a Cody Zeller guy.
Me either, but I mean,
They need something. I like Tristan Thompson. I just want one more body. I get the feeling
Thompson's a cheerleader, and that's it.
No, but that's what I like him for. Once in a playoff series like Tristan, 7 minutes, rescue the game.
We need somebody that can contribute a little bit, I think. But go ahead.
No. You're not wrong. That's I'm a realist. That's the perfect thing. If the Cavs do get a big center that can play 10 to 15 minutes a game, Tristan Thompson can't do that.
No.
What I'm saying is Tristan Thompson plays 7 minutes once a series. Not once a game, once a series. So that's what I'm talking about. But anyways, we can't talk about that first. Yeah.
Because who takes our headlines as usual all the time, even on Super Bowl week, off season? There's never an off season because there's always drama with your mama. Go ahead.
We have our friends, the Browns, running around. David Njoku is shirtless. Denzel Ward is running around because Myles Garrett has announced that he wants to be traded. So we have to talk about Garrett. This is a big – I'm actually going to lead off here. Garrett announcing this, Rob, to me was like, now we're at ground zero. The Browns – if they Browns lose Garrett, and I think they will, this is an expansion team. They don't have special teams. We don't have a quarterback. We don't have any identity on offense because Nick Chubb's gone. So you don't have an identity on offense. And this defense is predicated around Garrett. Reminder, Michael Hall is injured. JOK is injured. Delpit had a terrible year. And you have Denzel Ward. So as I explained, this is your leader. So your leader's leaving. And your defense and one of the best players in the NFL are leaving. When they're doing a whole rebuild on offense and your special teams fucking blows. We're fucked.
Okay, hold on.
The Cavs are great. The Browns are fucked.
Andy, hold on. When Myles put that letter out, I was like everyone else. I was upset. I was, big Myles fan. Yeah. And then yesterday he goes on Rich Eisen. He's on Radio Row at the Super Bowl, and that must have been LeBron. He talked to a guy. He talked to a boy out of Akron, a friend out of Akron. That was not necessary to go and parade around.
That was his first strike. I said the same thing. When I saw that, I'm like, that's not new.
That wasn't necessary.
Because
here's the thing, Andy, we do not have to trade him.
No, we don't.
Now, he could not play, and it could get a little bit ugly, but he could not. We don't have to trade him because it would be very difficult financially for the Browns to trade him.
It's a cap nightmare. It is.
It's cap nightmare.
It really is.
I think at the end of this, and today's February 6th, we're going to post this February 7th. Andy, I think he's going to look like an idiot. He's going to restructure. They're going to make this guy. They're going to give this guy a contract. He says he doesn't care about the highest paid contract. He's going to end up playing in Cleveland next year.
So I'm glad Rob's saying this because I am really down on the Browns. Now, did I think Myles Garrett needed to go around Radio Row? No, I did not. I don't like that at all. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good vibe. Do I think Myles Garrett's the best player to ever play in Cleveland? No. But as Browns, we have seen this before with Paul Brown getting fired, with Jim Brown burning Kosar. This is the latest now, Myles Garrett. And that's why when people say, well, this hasn't happened before, actually it has. Browns fans have history of identifying players who don't come back or a coach. So this is very Browns-like. So this is actually not outside the norm. Again, Kosar, Jim Brown, Paul Brown, look it up. These are players that coach that left that the fans really turned against the organization. So this is a trend for this team.
Right.
Back to the story. I do not think he's coming back. I think this is. I'm thrilled that Njoku and Ward get it. Njoku not wearing a shirt, which was bizarre. I mean, I know when I wear a podcast, I go fully dressed. In fact, I like layers.
Me too. We need it.
Extra large.
Andy, if I had a figure like Njoku, I guess I wouldn't wear a shirt.
Oh, either. I wouldn't wear anything. I'd wear a thong.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy. So back to this. I'm glad to hear Njoku gets it. I think Denzel Ward gets it. They're basically saying, here, I'm going to read what Njoku said. For me, I'm Cleveland ride or die.
Love it.
Hope Myles tries to stay. That's like a brother to me. Obviously, so I'm going to talk to him and see what I can do. That's above me, obviously. And Njoku gets it.
Yeah.
We can't lose him. Lose him. Got to get him back. Denzel Ward was a little softer. And Njoku is actually the guy who goes, I'm going to fucking take my shirt off. And it finally struck. He's the first guy. I give Njoku a lot of credit. He's the first guy when he said that today. It's like, he gets it. This is really bad. You can, and I'm going to tell this to everybody out there, you can rebuild. You can't fucking rebuild without structure. When you have a house and you go, that beam, I don't like that beam. But if you take that beam down, the house collapses. This is the beam, okay?
Right.
And I'm not saying he's perfect, but it's a beam.
And we have nobody else to, when you talk about a beam, we have no quarterback.
None.
We have nobody, no Baker, no Deshaun. We have nobody to step up and talk to him other than Njoku, Ward, maybe Chubb. But Chubb's not even, is Chubb?
But Chubb's a free agent.
Right. Chubb's a free agent too, so he can't speak. And it all goes back to the miscarriage of justice of Jimmy and Dee Haslam.
I said the day this happened, hands and knees. I'm telling you, folks, this organization can't take this. Now, Rob and I will always be fans of the end.
Oh, absolutely.
My son's a diehard. He actually was exasperated. And he goes, Dad, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I could tell, he goes, I'll be back because I can't do this. I don't want to go 1-16. I go, I don't want to do that anymore. He goes, that's what we're going to be if we lose Myles Garrett. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's no question. And that's why when people go, well, you can rebuild and Myles Garrett, he has, okay, I'm going to go on the other side for a second. Garrett has been a prima donna at times. Garrett's prancing around the Super Bowl. I agree with Rob. That was a bad look for Cleveland.
Bad.
Not for him, for Cleveland. And Njoku was Cleveland. He was that drunk guy in the corner. Came in there and said, I'm going to take my shirt off.
Thank God. Thank God.
Someone was saying what we're thinking. But this is very worrisome as a fan. And I'm going to say it again.
Sorry, Andy.
It's okay. We'll pick it back up again.
My kids were supposed to handle the dogs for me, and they didn't. Go ahead.
3, 2.
Go ahead.
It's okay. 3, 2. So Garrett leaving goes back to the expansion era, and it really does to me. Because again, and people go, well, just like there's some guys in radio, just take Warren out of Michigan. Well, sure, but that doesn't solve anything.
No.
And by the way, all we've done is take defensive tackles. My call, Ika. So now we're taking another defensive tackle?
No.
It's like I just don't understand this.
You're back to the apathy. You're back to the, when you talk about your son, my son, a diehard, he's 15, and when we're 3 and 13, and even he doesn't want to go to the game. You know what I'm saying? Even when he doesn't want to go to the game, and he loves the Browns, he loves football more than anything, and we're getting to that point. It's sad. So Andy, and sadly, the fish stinks from the head down. We can blame. Of course, Barry's at fault. DePodesta. We beat those guys. We beat them all. I mean, it's sickening. But how Jimmy and D Haslam? I mean, you want to talk about how we have gotten to this point is awful. But now that we're here, Myles goes. And then I'm looking. Okay, I'm looking. You send me the rundown. I'm online. Myles isn't going to the Carolina Panthers with the haul of top 10 picks. So you want to send me Detroit's first round picks? Detroit is drafting at the bottom of the first round. We are going to get 25, 26, 27. What kind of pick are you going to get? Now, okay, we heard that maybe Tennessee, maybe New England. Do you think Vrabel is good? You think New England is going to be shitty for long? No. So this is how I don't get. Oh, we're going to get 2 first-round picks for Myles Garrett. First of all, what are we going to do? We need 2 first-round picks this year. We need Tennessee's first pick, but I don't even know what we would do with it. We don't want.
That's my point. That's my point. Like, you hear these drafts. I don't want Abdul Carter. Well, motherfucker, what else are you going to do?
Who are you going to take that's better than Myles Garrett? So then if you take 2027, so now you got to look at a freshman in college, and how can you trust anybody in Berea, anybody in that organization to pick anybody that's close to Myles Garrett?
Depressing. It's so depressing.
I mean, you got to go back. Who drafted Garrett? Who the hell drafted in 2017?
Sashi Brown.
Well, okay, and he wasn't worth the shit, but you got to go back and say Sashi. I mean,
by the way, he did take Njoku too. Here, I want to go back. You said something that struck a chord. So, this is the production company of Andy and Robert. Here's what I would do. I consult with Robert. DePodesta, fired. I would fire him today. I don't even give a fuck. It's Super Bowl week. You can't do that before the draft. Don't care. Andrew Berry, gone. Stefanski, gone. You guys can't handle a team. You guys could not handle keeping Myles Garrett happy. Cannot do it. I don't want to hear about this analytical shit anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it. Tommy Reese, you were here for 2 weeks. Sorry. Like, I can't. I dread this because you know why? We know what's coming. 2-15, just dreadful mess.
But we can't. But how could we possibly be worse? I mean, we couldn't possibly again stumble around and be. I mean, I just how
lose Myles Garrett. It's close. If Myles Garrett sits out the whole year, 1 game, 2 games. I mean, I'm telling you, and again, like people, like let's go down the list. Cedric Tillman. Have we heard any updates about Cedric Tillman? These are our young.
Haven't heard that. Nothing.
Nothing. I mean, like people keep saying things. I'm like, we have had dreadful injuries that like we don't get any updates on.
We don't know if JOK is alive.
No, don't know. Poor guy. JOK, Cedric Tillman, and Mike Hall. I would say those are guys we've highlighted in the draft in the last 3 years. We know none of their whereabouts right now. Nothing. How can you build a team when your young core guys are hurt or gone? We don't know. I mean, that's why, again, I'm not saying not to draft the kid out of Michigan, but I've studied this at ESPN. When you keep drafting the same fucking position, defensive tackle, Ika, Mike Hall, now we're going to draft Warren, 3 straight defensive tackle. It's like, you guys start hitting on this or it's going to set your organization way back. And that's the problem. Like everybody keeps having these simple solutions. The simple solution is toilet flush. Just go. Like this didn't work out. You could not keep him happy. And now Rob's point. And Rob's right. You want to keep him there, keep him in a box, say we're not going to trade you, a Bengals type move. Okay, fine. That's going to hurt the team too. Now at some point he's got to come on and play. Like it's hands and I just can't get over how David Njoku's the first one who got it. I saw something in David Njoku today. I'm like, he gets it.
But who else is gonna? Who else has any clout on the team?
Well,
Joe Shea,
Pierre
Strong. I mean, who else is there that has any clout?
Hey, this is Ogbo. I don't know if you remember me. We played on the defensive line together. I didn't do anything. But
I mean, who else has any clout on the football team?
Delpit? Emerson? I don't know. I mean, Judy's only been there, what, for
1 year? But I mean,
that's my point. It just, I hate to say it. This feels like an expansion team now. It just feels like an expansion team. And now I'm going to say something that I'm reversing on. I would not bring Kirk Cousins into this. I would not.
Why? Why?
Make it more of a disaster. Disaster. And that's why it's like, this is so, you said it at the top. Super Bowl week. Myles Garrett drops his bomb. Draft. What draft? Who cares about the draft?
Yeah. I mean, and Andy, what have we heard about about Berea?
Nothing. Stone-faced answers. I mean, again, David Njoku.
They should be ashamed. They should be ashamed to even bring it up, Andy. To be ashamed to even bring it up.
How about this? Why can't someone say we're pissed? We're angry. Dog's angry. I'm angry. I know. Dog. I'm happy, but pissed.
Hold on,
and I'll
Andy.
tell you what.
Could you get these dogs? Sorry, Andy.
It's okay. We'll pick it back up right here. 3, 2.
Okay.
No. Poor dog.
Hold on.
It's all good.
Okay, go ahead. Leave him out there. And if he barks, come get him. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, here we go. 3.
Okay, sorry.
4. Rob's hitting on a good emotional note here, so let's take it up from here. Where is the frustration? The Browns are acting like, well, it's business as usual. We're just going to draft some players. Even radio talk shows, well, we don't need them. You don't need Myles Garrett.
They're just – Barry's ignoring it. Barry said we're not trading them. They're just trying to, we haven't heard anything. Where's Jimmy? You know, what are we doing? Why don't we – what are we –
hope and pray? And see, that's the point. Lamar Jackson just happened to Lamar. Lamar's about money. Some other things are pretty direct about money. Myles wants to go. And by the way, he made a full forged plan in New Orleans to get the fuck out.
But LeBron, maybe LeBron wrote his letter, but that's for another day.
All right, let's go to that for a second. Look, we have to understand that Garrett is a part of an organization that LeBron runs. So calling someone on the board like LeBron, who probably runs the whole business, is very understandable. I will say, Garrett is flying into the wind, old feelings. I talked to LeBron, and he gave me some advice. It's like, for everything LeBron did well, he did not handle that decision well at all. Terrible handle.
Andy, but don't you think in retrospect, that was one of the most vain, arrogant. Terrible. I mean, how and when we look back in that in retrospect, I remember my bar, all of my bars that night were loaded, were packed. Yeah. I know exactly where I was standing. I know exactly, we were loaded, mobbed. And I remember the cold sweats that I had in the anticipation and all the rumors and everything we heard in the buildup. And we were convinced he was gone. With the last playoff game against Boston, all the bullshit and all the conspiracy. And then we were convinced LeBron's never leaving. You know, I mean, we talked ourselves in and out of it. I mean, Andy, that whole thing, he buys the time on your station, ESPN.
I'm going to get to my side of the story.
I mean, just talk about a vain, arrogant,
terrible look. Terrible.
What a terrible. I mean, to go back in his and once again, let me say this. The man brought us 2016, so I could never take that away.
All forgiven. We're good.
He did that, and then the knee-jerk reaction of I never want to hear anybody complain about Gilbert with his tweet or burning of the jerseys.
Very.
We were due our knee-jerk reaction.
And by the way, we were pissed. I thought Dan was right. I was pissed.
You want to talk about? I mean, well, no exaggeration. But the bar that I was, all of my bars, and I think at the time I owned 4. But the bar that I was in, Andy, we were loaded, wall to wall. And you want to talk about deflated? I mean, you could hear a pin drop. There was tears. It was like you would have thought that everyone's mother had just passed away. It was awful.
So I worked at ESPN
because okay. I'm dying to hear this one.
And I was told right before what was going to happen, and I still didn't believe it.
Wait a minute! I thought he just made his decision
But I was told, I was tipped off. There were people who knew.
Where were you?
I was at Bristol. I was in my house, in my basement. And I sat alone, and about an hour before, someone goes, "He's going to Miami." Just going to give you a heads up. I heard he's going to Miami. And I said, okay. And so I decided to go alone. I sat alone in my basement because I knew I was not going to act appropriately, and I did not act appropriately. So I did not want to be seen. And I kicked shit, and I broke shit, and I was really upset. And for everything LeBron's done, he did not handle that night right.
Yeah.
And there were people at the network that lost their jobs because of that. That was not even a bad look for Cleveland. A lot of people at ESPN took it personally because they thought it came off really bad for them.
Yeah.
So it was a full – I mean, again, I'm one guy in particular who I know, and I don't know where he is, so I won't say his name, but call him JF. JF was a good dude, and he lost his job because of that. And people lost it because it was not handled right. It just was not handled right. And so because of that –
wasn't that all? I mean, he bought the time.
He bought the time, but it wasn't done right. It just wasn't done right. Like ESPN back then would never have allowed something like that to happen.
They shouldn't have.
It became a circus, and people who were involved were very embarrassed because the athlete took over the journalism. And usually in the past, it'd be the journalism with the athlete works hand in hand. LeBron's crew, Jim Gray, they took it over. They took the whole thing over. And again, there's one or two people I know in mind who are very, very embarrassed by the night and just couldn't believe it.
Jim Gray didn't work for the station.
He did not. He took it over. They just took it over. Like, they just did things that ESPN people, it just didn't come off right. It didn't come off right nationally. It didn't come off right locally. It didn't come right up to us fans. And everybody was a loser. It was, again, like, people lost their jobs.
Now, I've heard all sorts of different stories and from people here. And Gilbert, what did you hear about Gilbert knowing or them telling?
10 minutes before he set up.
Okay, because I heard that Gilbert thought that he was going to come or stay with us, and then right at the end,
they pulled the plug. They pulled the rug.
Yeah,
Dan and I are not close. We've only spoken a few times. But I did interview him for the film, and we sat down and talked for a while. It's pretty clear Dan had no idea what was coming. And I will say this. I had the same reaction Dan Gilbert did that night. I was upset. I was angry. I didn't understand what happened. Sometimes you're angry, you say things that aren't exactly on the QT.
Right.
I thought Dan got way too much flack for that. Dan's not perfect. I'm not perfect either. But I thought his tone was perfect.
Absolutely.
I was mad.
He said what we all felt, we all were saying, and what was due.
We were mad. I just don't understand why Gilbert gets a bad pat. I don't understand that whole thing. Never have. We talked about that link. I actually agree with Dan. I still do. I thought the letter was perfect. That's how we felt.
Mm-hmm.
It's not personal. It's business. I said that somebody like, it's not personal. LeBron James is a good man. He doesn't do anything wrong. I mean, clearly, let me say this too. LeBron James is a very good man. That guy does not party. That guy is not in. He does not get himself in trouble. He's pretty clean nose for a big time athlete, and that's hard to do.
Yeah,
that's very hard to do. He is pretty clean nose.
Yep.
Anyways, back to this.
Yep.
Garrett has every right to voice his opinion. Garrett has every right to do whatever he wants to do. The walking around Super Bowl was tough. I didn't like that. I didn't think it was a good look for us fans. But he has really put the Browns in a pickle. And again, I'll say there's history with this with the team. I think people have short memory. I mentioned the athletes. There are times where the fans glom onto an athlete. We're glomming onto this athlete. Again, Garrett's not perfect. Garrett's got some things too. But God, he's a great player. And overall, he's a good person. Sorry.
He got bad advice.
Terrible advice. And
because I think he's going to come. I think ultimately he's going to play for the Browns. Or he's not going to play. Because how do you see this working? Do you see us taking what did the Commanders? I mean, and I love the Commodes.
Here's some just supposed trades. I'll read them to you. These are done by CBS Sports. And that's the other thing, too. There's going to be a lot of random things. Let's go to a credible source. So CBS is saying 2025 first-round pick from the Lions, 2026 first-round pick from the Lions. Okay, so 2 first-round picks.
28 overall. You want 28 overall?
Nope.
For Myles Garrett?
Nope.
Stop it, please. Stop it.
I would trade him to the Falcons. That's a fair trade. The Falcons have tons of picks. I would trade him to the Falcons.
Shit show. Right.
I would trade him.
I trade him to another dumpster fire.
Yeah, I would too. By the way, I would not trade him to the Patriots. I do not want to see him in this conference.
No.
He needs to go away. He needs to go away. Like, if he's going to go away. Arizona Cardinals, it's another good team. The Commanders, first round pick, Daron Payne, another defensive tackle. That's actually better than what the Lions are offering, it sounds like. Patriots, first round pick, but it's a 4th overall pick. It's a big pick. 2026 second round pick. That's the 4th. The Patriots, we should pause. Again, I wouldn't do it. But the 4th overall pick is a lot.
Okay. Here's the thing, Andy. Here's the thing. What are you going to do with the 4th overall pick?
Okay,
and do you have faith in what the hell we're going? You know what I'm saying?
I would not do the trade. Let me say it again. I would not do the trade. But let's say that would be one of the trades. It's like, I don't like this move. I don't agree with this move, but I get it. Okay, so we have the 4th overall pick. You got to take a quarterback, and you got to take a Bill Carter or Hunter. Bingo. I mean, that's it. Instant talent. But I wouldn't do it.
And sadly, I haven't heard. I think where we could capitalize, because the only team that's dumber, one of the only teams that's dumber than us is, or the Cowboys. We could get Micah Parsons. We could get some. You know what I'm saying? The Raiders or the Cowboys would be the only two. Give me Micah Parsons. You know you're getting something there.
Well, that goes back to the other point that people are not thinking about, that you brought up very logically. If they trade Myles Garrett, what the hell are they going to do with the cap? It is a major.
It's worse.
I mean, for people who don't know, it's like a $31 million cap hit. My God. Deshaun Watson's going to be on this roster until 2040. I mean, geez Louise, that is a huge...
Now I'm going to throw up all over the place.
I mean, that's Bobby Bonilla type contract stuff. I mean, geez. I just think this is... I guess we can all agree on this. The Browns are really low again. There was some hope being built around the draft, Rob. I don't feel any hope about it. I've heard nothing about the draft this week. And is that not surprising with the news? But nothing about the draft. Nothing. It's all about Garrett now. It's all about Garrett. Now, if Garrett wins the Player of the Year award on defense, does he thank the Browns?
What?
Does he think?
I mean,
that's where things can start reversing on him big time. He's got to be careful.
I mean, he's going to look like an asshole.
You're going to turn off your teammates if you say something wrong. And I'm telling you, the way this is going, I'm almost rooting for him to win. To be like, all right, what are you going to say? You're going to think.
I mean, what do you do then? That's tonight, isn't it?
It's right now. Yeah, that already happened.
It's coming up.
It's a big moment. I'll be watching. I want to see what he has to say. It's just a fascinating little. Okay. This?
But Andy, let me. But here's the thing: how do you see? I mean, okay, so if you move him for 4, okay, let's just say the Patriots, because if I'm the Patriots, I'll give up this. I'll give you 4. Okay. The Patriots need a wide receiver, but I don't give a shit who you need. I'll take Myles.
Myles Garrett gives you some instant credibility. Yeah.
Do at 4? Do you? I mean, so you take Abdul Carter with one of those picks. I still don't love Cam Ward, Sanders. I'm still not taking a quarterback.
Probably not. I mean, that's why it's so bizarre, because it's like.
And then is Abdul Carter going to have the pressure of living up to Myles Garrett? Yeah. And then is this kid screwed because he's instead of my dream of putting him on the other side of Myles Garrett, now this kid's got to fill his shoes, and boy, are we starting a hole.
And now we're going to see the real talent of Alex Wright, the real talent of Isaiah McGuire. It's a lot of questions there. Telling you, McGuire is a good example. I think McGuire is an okay player. If you don't have Myles Garrett there, a lot more attention goes to McGuire. A lot more attention goes to other guys on the team.
And here's the thing. Sadly, he has no. When I say he, well, they, Jimmy and D, they got nowhere to go. They get rid of Barry and DePodesta now. we're too late in the game.
I know.
Who's gonna? First of all, obviously, it's their draft board is done. I mean, it's late in the game, Mr. Billman. But who wants? This isn't a coveted job, man. You're coming into. By
the way, we haven't even said Deshaun Watson's name. We got that whole situation.
I mean,
that's why it's impossible. That's why I laugh when people are like, just trade Garrett. I'm like, jeez, like, okay. I mean,
you always want, you always want to leave, no matter what you do, Andy, you want to leave the place better than you found it. And the way these clowns are going, I mean, they're going to leave the thing burned. I mean, holy shit.
It just reminds me of the old guy at the bar who's drunk, who lights everything on fire at the end. It's like, we should have known. He's been playing his matches. That's what it feels like with the Browns. It's like people, and that's why I've been very bothered by commentary this week. Just trade him, get rid of him, Garrett. It's like, and do what?
It's not that easy. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go?
And
it just doesn't work.
Your cap's fucked. You're not bringing. And again, I'm going to say this. I'm raising my hand. Kirk Cousins. I don't think I bring Kirk Cousins now. I think it's too much drama. I just think I can't.
If you have to move on from Garrett, there's no need. Why? I mean, now you're like you said, your expansion territory. You're. And I hate to even say it. Why? But I mean, it's sickening to say. But what are you going to? I mean, what do you do with Chubb? What?
See, they fucked it up. That's the whole point. It's like, it's so obvious. See, here's where. Yeah, I gotta say it. Where's Paul DePodesta? He can't make a trip down Radio Row in New Orleans this week. Why can't he talk? Why can't Andrew Berry? Like, that's the thing. It's like, hey, go down there and be like, hey, we're going to meet you down there, dude. We're going to figure this fucking thing out. Not the Browns. There's no fire. It's fine. Let it fight out.
If I'm Myles Garrett and Paul DePodesta walks up, I'm insulted. Jimmy and D better be taking me out to dinner.
There you go. By the way, there you go.
You better be talking to the head honcho. If you got any balls and you own this outfit, and I'm telling you what, I need. But here's the thing: I need Jimmy and D know nothing about football, but as the owner of the team, they should be the one talking to Myles, okay?
You're right.
Saying, Myles, we're going to get this right. And I tell you what, whether Berry and Stefanski, they're on a short leash this year. If we start off, I mean, if we're 1-3 or 0-4, or they're gone. They got to go. It's over. I mean, it's got to. I mean,
so you hit a note. See, did you watch The Sopranos?
No, sadly, I gave up on. I didn't have time. A little bit, but not much. Go ahead.
There's a great scene in season 5 where Tony kind of gets in trouble with Adriana, and they didn't hook up, but they came close. And he goes to Carmela's. They were broken up at that time. And he goes, "Hey, Carmela, you got to do a dinner to save face." And Carmela kept fighting. He goes, "No, this is for the family." And that's where you're right about D and Jimmy's like, "Hey, Myles, you gotta do dinner with us." No, you gotta do dinner. We're paying your bills. We paid your bills. We're gonna do dinner. We're not saying you're staying. We're gonna do it publicly. We want people to see it. And we're gonna do dinner. We're gonna talk this shit out.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk it out right now. We're gonna sit down and powwow.
Because do you think, Andy, who did Garrett talk to? Did he talk to Barrett or Berry and Stefanski?
Well, I get the feeling he talked to Berry. And I gotta be honest, people are gonna take this too harshly. He looks like a buffoon. I think Andrew Berry looks absolutely like a buffoon. I've lost all hope with him. I did. I don't know what to say, Rob. I have no faith in him anymore. None.
Berry does a nice job at his press conferences of saying nothing. No, I mean, he does a nice job of not really stepping on his own foot. He doesn't step on his own tongue, but he really doesn't say anything.
He's a competent Harvard man.
Yeah.
Very
competent. Oh, yes.
In Harvard.
Yes.
Says the right things. I look at every draft like it's an expansion draft. Well, good fucking news, brother.
It really is. You got
an expansion team. And by the way, I agree with Tony Grossi. That is a silly statement.
Now, I've been reading, on the Athletic, some of these guys have some good points, and I don't know who, around the NFL, they love Berry for his contract negotiations and his business. Okay, so the Cleveland Browns should have let him do that and hire a GM. Okay.
Yes.
Let Dorsey run the football operations and let this guy negotiate contracts.
Yes, it reminds me when I was working in a restaurant, as you know very well. This guy can man a grill. He can't fucking cook anything else, but he can do a grill. He's really good at the grill. Like, that's his gig. That's her gig.
Right.
And it's like Barry's good at contracts. Hey, I will not disagree. The guy's very good there. Can't run an organization, though. I mean, can't. I mean, again, like, it was so funny the next day, Mary Kay Cabot. I was told by Myles Garrett's people that he didn't mean to take a dig at Andrew Berry. Bullshit.
Oh, please. That was right. Oh, please. that was premeditated. That was premeditated as could be.
As my friend used to say, played football in college, he goes, that's like a side swipe elbow when you're doing jogs. He goes, it was just one of those from Andrew. I mean, look, that's the thing that bothers me too. I don't think Andrew Berry can recover from this. On repeat, I don't think he can recover from any of this. I think his time has passed. I'm now there with that guy. I'm now there deep Podesta. Doesn't mean they're going to get fired tomorrow. I don't think they'll ever recover from this. I thought that Myles Garrett was a death blow. Death blow. How can you treat them seriously?
They have to pull a rabbit. Somehow, some way, they have to pull a rabbit. Someone has to pull a rabbit out of their hat. Because, but here's the thing, Andy. How do you see them how do you see them getting out of it? How do you see them trading them? What do you see happening? You see him just not playing?
See, the Browns don't handle these things well. They never have.
They don't handle anything well.
They really don't. But it's like, that's why it's like, someone goes, how do you think it's going to go? I'm like, horribly wrong.
Andy, remember when we beat the Jets? Baker beats the Jets and the Bud Light refrigerators didn't even open? We screwed that up. We screw up a shit sandwich. So.
Our mayor's hair on fire. I like to say. Only in Cleveland. But yeah, I actually, the one thing, with Garrett that I am very fearful of, see, the Browns would do this. Browns make a trade. Denver Broncos. Like, oh my fucking God. Oh my. Like, I would, see, Rob, that's in play. Like, that would be catastrophic. This organization would do something stupid like that.
Set us back again.
In Denver.
And
by the way, I'm guessing, see, I have to say this, but this is like, should be commonplace. I would hope to fucking God they know you can't trade in Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, or Baltimore. I would hope to fucking God that's a given.
I mean, I
would hope.
If first of all, there is no way that the league office could possibly okay that. There's no way.
Let's see.
There's no way.
I'm really worried about the Broncos because if I were the Broncos, I would overpay for Garrett to get him. And it would fuck with the Browns forever. Ever.
But I mean,
ever. Get
how
him.
do you see? But how do you see that? Oh my God, I can't even believe you're saying that.
No, but the Browns.
What do the Broncos have? What do the Broncos have to offer you?
Trade surplus. They're under the cap. They've been rumored as one of those teams that are in the hunt. You hear Falcons, Packers, Broncos, Patriots.
Give them to the Falcons. The Falcons will be a good. That would be
I
good.
love the Falcons idea. That's great. I like them. They're dumb. They're stupid. They're running with flaming scissors like we are. Woo! I mean, let them go over there. But again, like I am, Rob, that's my biggest fear. Like I wake up one morning and go, and the Browns made a trade. Myles Garrett's going to Denver. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even. I wouldn't even be able to get out of bed. I really wouldn't. I'd be like, I hate. Oh, that would just kill me.
That we could not be. I mean, there would have to be some sort of. There would have to be an investigation, and I'm telling you, if first of all, if we made any type of move inside our division, Pete Rozelle, Paul Tagliabue, they roll over in their grave. There would have to be an investigation in this organization, because how in the world are you even talking about this? It's criminal.
The Browns have made moves to the Steelers recently.
If you're right, here's the thing. Okay, here if I'm Barry, I'll say, okay, Myles, we're talking to the Falcons, we're talking to the Jets, we're talking to Mark Davis and the Raiders. Arizona's, the weather's nice this time of the year. Right?
No one will ever know you're there, and you'll win your defensive player of the year, and it's great.
Right. We're going to send you to those because they got draft capital, right?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Now the Jets are in the AFC, but Woody Johnson could be possibly. I mean,
Aaron Glenn would worry me. See, the Jets are too close to home. I want him to go. I guess you asked the question.
Yeah, you're right about Aaron Glenn, though. He does have a chance there, but
he does. Like, I want to go back to your question. If I had a table in Vegas and they go, put your chip down on what happens to Myles Garrett in 2025 by September, I'm like, if I had to guess, he's probably on another team. I'm not loving that selection. I don't like it, but that's what I'm saying. It's true gut. Like, I don't have a vibe yet, but that's my guess.
And I just don't see how they get. I think he's either a Brown or he's not playing, and I think he'll be a Brown because I don't think he's not. I don't think he's gonna. He'll back down.
I'll say this: Njoku gave me hope for the first time today.
Yeah,
Njoku. Yes. It was so, again, people watch the video. It's bizarre. He's wearing no shirt, talking to people on Bleacher Report. I can't. This is so weird. But that's when I go, okay, he gets it.
Yeah.
He gets it. Like, this is the guy's talking like, hey, look, come back. We need you. We're not that far off.
And sadly, there's nobody else. I mean, it's sad when you have there's nobody. Garrett is your leader, and the leader is trying to think about this, folks. The leader is jumping ship.
Yeah.
I mean, the leader, and it's not like we can send Big Dog to go get him. I mean, we could send, Rizzo, but I mean, we have nobody left. Nobody.
No, but that's my point.
Bernie, is poor Bernie going to go and try to, I mean, God damn it.
See, that's my point.
What the hell are you going to do?
But see, that's my point. Like, I'll make another comparison. If Michael Dean Perry said this, I'd be really upset, but I think the Browns could get by that. This is not Michael Dean Perry. This is a big – and he's a good player. Very good player.
I loved Michael Dean.
I
love
Michael Dean. Like, great player. But it's like, God, it's like this guy. Like, I guess it kind of reminds me of this. I'll compare it on defense. So I think that's more comparable. It'd be like if Clay Matthews was doing this shit. If Clay Matthews did this, I'd be like, oh, man, I can't handle this. And that's what it reminds me of. It's like, that's our leader. Like, that's our guy. Like, God damn. Like,
yeah, but but do you think we were? But we're in such a pivotal spot in this organization. I mean, you understand. You want to talk about a fork in the road? The Haslams are trying to drive us to pay all this. And don't get me wrong, I love the idea of the dome, and I love the idea of Super Bowls and concerts, and I love all that shit. I love all that, and I do agree that I do agree bringing more events. But how could these people insult us with wanting us to pay more money, and they want us to talk about moving, and they can't even field a competent. I mean, these guys can't even get along. They can't. I mean, just think about what the hell's going on.
It reminds me, a dog is right. It's going to be like
he's had enough.
He has.
He has had enough of this crap. Andy, he's had enough of. He's 15 and he's had enough of this. He can't stand it anymore.
I got a picture for everybody. It's going to be like the opening scene of Major League when the owner walks in and she goes, "Here are the rosters, everybody." He takes a look and goes, "Who the fuck is this?" And that's what it's going to be like. I'm telling you. Yeah. Because of the cap restrictions, Garrett's gone. You're going to have a lot of, who is Phil Schweitzer? Well, he played in Canada last year.
Oh, yeah. Where did this guy come from? Right.
You're going to be like, didn't he play at Idaho State last year? Oh, yes. But he's a real flyer on punt returns. I mean,
yeah. Where the hell did this? Right. This guy was on. You're going to see. Listen, folks, we better all start watching the UFL, USFL, whatever the hell it's called, because half your team is going to be coming from the spring league.
You're going to hear Soak's pension era. You're like, who's Tyler Hemsley? Well, you asked. He played last year at Penn. Penn State, no. Penn.
The punter. Well, he was in the California Penal League.
You're gonna hear things. It's like we're there. I'm telling you. It's so dark. I'll leave it there. It's very dark in Brownsville. The lights are all out.
But let's finish with this is how colorblind, or how the owners of this franchise are so. I mean, what do they see? Like they're trying to build this, which and like I said, Andy, I think for us to eventually get a Super Bowl and to get the beautiful complex, and wherever it's at, if it's in Berea, if it's downtown, we should do it. Okay, but how could we have to field a competent outfit?
The timing is so wrong. It's just so wrong. And again, I'm not one for drumming up confrontational press. I think it's time for D and Jimmy to have a public moment in a very pleasant way with Myles. Let's go out to dinner. Let's sit down. We'll break bread. We're going to talk about this.
And where are they? Shad Khan is at the Super Bowl with this. His team is awful, and Shad is there. Did you see that? Holy shit.
That was one of those moments. We say this in the business, fuck you money.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as he brought that thing in, I actually typed into Twitter, reality show. I mean, what is going on in that boat? Oh, my God. God, I mean, can you imagine? I'm sure they're hosing it down daily for God knows what reasons, but
yeah, what goes on in there?
But again, the Browns have done it. This is a huge topic. This is a big problem.
Oh, monumental. How they get out of this and where we go from here, it could affect a generation of Cleveland Brown. Think about this. Another generation of Cleveland Browns football. And real quick, Andy, I somebody I was talking to the other day had a good point, and I'll be remiss to bring this up. The guy said, he says, I really don't fault the Haslams and Barry for trying. They felt they at least tried to get a franchise quarterback in Deshaun Watson, and I stopped them and I said, but they were incredibly stupid because the writing was on the wall when it could. I mean, character has got to have something to do when you're hiring someone, when you're drafting a player. Though how they turned a blind eye to those allegations, that's why we're getting everything that's coming to us. But the gentleman, he had a good point. They did what they thought was going to propel us to the Super Bowl, and they took a shot. If that shot would have worked and Deshaun was anything like he was in Houston, we could have been in New Orleans this week. And if his point was, if we were in New Orleans this week, not one person in Cleveland would have given a shit about Deshaun or his massages. And Andy sat there like this. I didn't know what to say.
But they didn't play well.
But they didn't.
He is a disaster.
He is a disaster, and he's a creep.
Got blown out 2 years ago. And now we have no foundation left because our best player left wants to go. So those things did happen. And he is a shit show. And he was putting on video. By the way, Deshaun Watson doesn't do videos anymore.
You think finally somebody told him to get off social media, you dumbass?
His lawyer said, hey, do you want that cash? Yeah, take that shit down. I'm going to say this again. It's very dark in Brownsville. There are no lights on. The rats are out. And they are eating anything they can find.
So, in real quick, Mr. Billman, you're a free agent quarterback. Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers, not that I'm interested. Sam Darnold, whoever. What's your interest level to come into? I don't care how much money's on the table. How much interest do you have coming to Cleveland? Right.
This looks like a big organization.
Right.
In fact, I'll go a step further. The only person I can see coming here, not two. I can see Cousins or Darnold because of the Stefanski connection. That's it.
Well, Cousins, because probably nobody wants him, and he's at the end of the rope.
El Cheapo.
Darnold cost himself millions because he shit all over himself in the playoffs.
Yeah, he'll be great in Cleveland.
He'll fit right in.
Oh, yeah.
But he'll never get that far here in Cleveland.
No,
so it doesn't matter.
I actually think the Browns now are really stuck. Because I really wouldn't bring in Cousins. I think it'd be too much now. The Browns need to put out fires. They don't need more fires. Cousins is a fire. He is polarizing. People don't usually hang around him. He's not a team guy.
You hear and of course all the reports, now it's Jackson Dart. They love this. Everything's a smoke screen. But if Garrett's not playing, whether it's Dart, Howard, Nussmeier, Curtis Rourke, it doesn't matter who. It could be DTR, FDR. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could run a triple option. Think about
I'm with you. If Garrett's gone, folks, it's a rebuild. There's nothing you can do.
How many season tickets are you going to sell? What are you going to put on the front? You're going to put Prochet, Pierre Strong, and Dante Foreman on the front of your catalog.
Tillman with like a big head wrap. Ready to go across the middle.
if Garrett's not there and I'm Jim Schwartz, I'm telling my agent,
I would freak out.
Get me out of this contract, man.
Freak out. I would freak out. Oh. And Emerson's coming off a bad season. Oh, what a mess. What a mess.
Let's talk about something good.
Let's
talk about something good. Mr. Billman, for the first time in a long time, we have a true small forward. Now, now, besides LeBron James, I do remember we had Jamario Moon, and we had a couple of way back we had Randolph Keys, and we had a couple of bangers.
Tyrone Hill.
Tyrone Hill was good.
He was a good player.
He was a hell of a player.
I like Tyrone
Hill. Randolph Keys, and I don't know if I mentioned him, but listen, this move today. And I don't want to hear these people talking about, it messed up the locker room. This locker room wasn't going very far.
DeAndre Hunter's a good dude. We're fine.
DeAndre Hunter, first of all, went to college with Ty Jerome.
That's right.
Second of all, listen, this is a good kid. He is a true three. This is a good defender. The first time since LeBron James, folks, we have got a true small forward.
The Cavs have a lineup. They already have. This is a real lineup.
This is a real three. This is a real three. So if Atkinson's smart, he's going to start. You'll see Strus coming off the bench, which is perfect.
Tyrone's the seventh. Then you got Dean, and you got Okoro. You can actually do so many matchups now. And then if you need shooting, Merrill and Porter and Tyson.
Yes.
It's you have a real depth.
Bringing Okoro off the bench is nice. Now, okay. Now here's the thing. Do you want? We have a roster spot. Do you want Ben Simmons on a buyout?
Not now. He's a risk anyways. He's a
head case. He can't hit a jumper. He can't hit a free throw. His back is still hurt from. I
wouldn't touch him.
I don't really want Ben Simmons, but I think that we need. I think we need a big. You know what I'm saying? We need another big.
You need one more Allen type of center to help fortify the bigs. I agree with you. The Cavs, see, now with that trade, I would be like, hey, don't get crazy. If you add now Ben Simmons, wow, that's a lot.
What do you think about Middleton? You think he'll get bought out? You think the Grizzlies will get – I would pick him up, but he may go right back to Milwaukee.
He might. Now, Middleton's a good example. Middleton has aged. It sucks in sports. He doesn't look the same.
He slowed down. He lost a step.
But 8 to 10, 15 minutes a game, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's what we need from Middleton.
Yeah.
Cavs,
which is fine.
Cavs don't have much to give up, actually. If everybody stays healthy, they should be actually in good shape because they have real depth. They need a big center. That'd be my big thing, a big center, like a big, nasty center. In fact, the guy who I would like to get back is Niang. Niang now fits perfectly. 5 to 8 minutes a game, shoots a couple threes, gets mad, someone headbutts a player, and leaves. That's it. I like that. The Cavs have something special. I think DeAndre Hunter, who's a smart player, I'm going to use the Andy Kaufman line. He's got brains.
Yeah.
He's from Charlottesville. And I'm being funny, but like people who look up Andy Kaufman, he was a very funny comedian. But like that's what I like about this. The Cavs are showing a lot of intelligence. They're also bringing a guy who's a team guy, understands what he's getting into. And remember with the Hawks, they're playing pick and roll. We are an offense. He is going to enjoy the motion of passing and getting after it. And he comes from a defensive-minded Tony Bennett mindset. So he's got that too. This is a perfect fit. Kid's having a great year shooting threes.
39%. I think my notes, he was 39%.
He does not want to handle the ball, which is great.
We're under the salary cap for. I mean, Altman gets an A for this one. I tell you that much.
How could he not? What a great job! I mean, honestly, okay, I'm not giving a proper shine. Cavs have a chance to win it all. Cavs have a chance to win the whole thing.
Yes, and how you match up now with Boston, and how you match up, and this is an OKC. Because you have a finally, we could say we finally have a true small forward,
right?
Somebody that could play that position and guard these guys.
And now your small guards are not so worrisome. And I'm gonna say a couple other things around. This is a big trade, and the Cavs are going to be the number 1 seed in the East. And with DeAndre Hunter, there's big things ahead. As I was telling people on Instagram, this is the Cavs Express. We are zooming to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I will also say, watching the Cavs a lot, I watch every game. Garland's playing better defense this year. Mitchell's playing better defense this year. They don't have the size, but I tell you what, Garland was feisty against Tatum. He was feisty the other night against the Pistons. They're doing a much better job. And I think with Hunter being able to take off some of the load now, because now Strus doesn't have to go up against Tatum. DeAndre Hunter can do that. I'm not saying DeAndre Hunter is going to shut anybody down.
Right.
But it's such a different thing now.
Sure going to be better than give you a better chance than Strus.
Well, now if they go, which killed them on Tuesday, if they go Tatum, Horford, Porzingis, now you go Hunter, Mobley, Allen. Mm-hmm. And now it's like a real legitimate 3-on-3. You're not shorthanded. It just changes everything.
Celtics didn't love that we got Hunter. I read that today.
Dark day. Because I'll say this again, too. Mobley played his worst game of the year on Tuesday. I don't know what happened, and it was beyond his offense. His offense was terrible. It was a rare bad defensive game. He just wasn't into it.
Yeah.
He got pushed around. It was really weird.
Odd. Very odd.
Very odd.
Yeah,
but
he was out of it.
Just out of it. But I told someone to go, if Mobley played a half a game, they win.
Yeah.
He just didn't show up. I mean, that's why they lost.
And last night it's a shame it took Garland making that 30-footer. It was a hell of a game. But, how do you feel? That's a game that with JB, we don't win.
No. Oh, JB, look, that was a
JB game, and Detroit's always going to lose them.
And the Cavs and it happens once a year in every sport. They got brought down to their level. You know what I mean by that? It's like the Pistons need to muck it up, and they mucked it up. They got in the mud. The Pistons are good in the mud. The Cavs jumped in. And it's like you can't do like Jared Allen. Well, he had to shove someone back. Yes, you're right. But that move, you kind of accepted what was going on in the game. And that kind of situation, though, I'm glad Garland hit that shot. I will repeat. That was a weird big game.
Yes.
Yeah, that game goes into overtime. Cavs will win. That was I saw the writing on the wall. I was like,
they were running out of steam. They were running out of gas.
Yeah, it was bad. That game really saved a lot of problems because I think that would have been 5 games up with about, I did the math, 30 games left. Geez, that's going to be tough for the Celtics. Catch up. Cavs are in a really good position. This is a very, very good team. And they do have legit wins. People get all bitchy. They won against Celtics earlier. They beat OKC. They've won in New York. They've won in Milwaukee. They got good wins, folks.
Yeah, what do they want?
I told someone to go, you shut down the Lakers when they made all those trades. I mean, what else? I mean, it's all this team does is win. It's just great because the West is chaotic. And the Celtics really – I'm not fearful of the Knicks this year. The Hawks are really injured. The Magic are really injured.
Well, here's the thing about the Knicks every year, and I always liked Tom Thibodeau as a coach, but the problem with any Tom Thibodeau team, they get banged up, and they can't make it because he shortens that rotation, Andy, and they run out of gas. And if if Kenny runs with even 10 guys in the playoffs and we got to go up against the Knicks, we'll just beat them on attrition. We'll just outrun them. You know what I'm saying?
The big thing with the Knicks, they get Robinson back. That's a big change. But they do have they do have the big center too. So it isn't like it's like a clean change.
Listen, they've really put it together and they're playing well. But I just think that, listen, he's going to start playing Josh Hart. You know, those guys are going to run out of gas. They're going to run out of gas.
I feel the same way. The point is the Cavs have everything ahead of them. This is an exciting run. The All-Star break's coming at the right time. This team could use some days off.
Let me ask you a question. Out of the West, if we were in Vegas and I said, Mr. Billman, put your chip on Mavericks or Lakers,
the West to me is very complicated. So I would actually say, well, I'd put my chip on OKC and I put my other chip on the Warriors. So I think Jimmy Butler will get a lot out of Curry and Green. I did not like that trade. I think Butler's going to play well in Golden State. I really do. Now next year, Luke and the Lakers, watch it. I think it's gangbusters. Absolute gangbusters. I don't know how to read the Mavericks. They've been so injured. I don't know what to say about the Mavericks. They are just. I mean, when we played them, they had 6 guys on the injured reserve list. I mean, they have a lot. It's a lot.
I think for this year, I think the Mavericks will get the better of this deal.
Oh, there's no question.
For this year, I think AD and I think what Nico Harrison, what they did, that's another. They should be an investigation. How they only dealt with Rob Pelinka and the Lakers, that was an investigation. But you're right. The OKC is a freight train. Jimmy Butler, he'll be good for this year and the playoffs.
Oh no, this year only. But this year, right. Kerr's very good coach. I can see things happening. If you get Jimmy Butler motivated, a guy can play.
But do they have? Is there enough? Is there enough? You know, Wiggins was instrumental the last time they had a good run. There's, Clay's gone, Poole's gone. I mean, does Draymond have anything left? Now you need playoff Jimmy, and so you're telling me playoff Jimmy. You've got Buddy Hield. You didn't trade him away. I mean, Schroeder never fit in over there. It's you're asking for a lot. I just don't think Golden State has enough to get over. I just think they're old. But Jimmy is intriguing because Jimmy put the heat on his back with Spoelstra. I think Spoelstra is one of the greatest coaches, but I don't know.
I don't like it because veterans like Curry and Green sometimes could use a pick-me-up. If you can't get picked up by Jimmy Butler coming to your team, you're never going to get picked up.
But you think Draymond's got anything? What can he get? I guess he could hit a couple of.
You never know.
What are they going to do? Are they going to bring Iguodala back for another? You got to sign him to a 10-day.
Okay, come here. Where are you? Latrell Sprewell.
And Andrew Bogut, they're going to sign him again for another.
I think the Warriors could. They're champions. Great coach. See, that's the thing. Redick, I don't know what Redick is yet. So Redick with Luka and LeBron's a lot. I don't know. Jason Kidd, I don't know. That's a tough situation. I saw OKC a lot. They're pretty good. They're going to be tough out. And the Warriors, again, champions like that, I'm just seeing too much in sports.
Do you like what the Spurs did? You think that's going to be a force to be reckoned with in a couple of years, next year?
I think there's a bigger thing with the Spurs that's medical. I think they got to deal with Popovich in a real caring way. I mean, the guy had a massive stroke, clearly.
Yeah.
And they have to – it feels like they're in second gear. That's all I can say. It feels like the Spurs are just I can't figure them out. They're not bad. The Pacers are the same way to me. It's like I don't understand the Pacers. Thank God I'm not a fan of theirs. It's like, how are they only like this record? They're just so average.
Yeah.
And they have much better talent than that. I just don't get it.
Once again, they may be one of those teams that, Carlisle's a veteran coach.
Very good coach.
They may be one of those teams that just, hanging around and waiting to put it, waiting to start playing, Andy, and then lay it on when it counts.
Yeah, the Bucks to me are interesting. They made a whole bunch of trades.
Oh, I love Kuzma. I mean, I love him going there. I mean,
we'll see. I'm not a Kuzma guy. I know too much about him, so I'm not a Kuzma guy, but we'll see. Again, it's the reverse of Jimmy Butler. Kuzma goes to the Bucks, he probably plays better.
Mm-hmm. Who could play good for the Bullets? I mean, holy shit. You and I probably could have. I mean, Valanciunas was so good. I'm so glad that guy. What is you want to have another investigation? What is that franchise doing? I mean, holy shit.
Looking forward to playing them tomorrow. They're misfits. Terrible team. Terrible.
I mean, they got to be tanking for that kid. Man.
Cooper.
Yeah.
To get out of Duke. He's very good.
Yes. Oh, that poor bastard. You got to get him more than Cooper Flagg. You got to get him. You better bring him some help because they're a disaster.
Oh, Gilbert Arenas, where are you? I mean,
yeah.
Geez, you're there.
Yeah.
No, but the Cavs are in good position. The Bucks made some changes. They were really the only team that made changes with the Cavs. We'll see what happens there. Again, from the West, it's perplexing. It's hard to get outside of OKC, kind of what they are. I mean, even the Warriors, to be fair to my comments, I don't know. I mean, let's see what happens. I mean, maybe they don't mix well together. And
we hope they just beat the shit out of each other.
They will. They will. And the Rockets are good too. I mean, we didn't even mention them. Rockets are good. I'm glad they're in the East and the West too. But the Cavs are in a really good position. Really good.
Udoka, in all seriousness, they're 1 year away and maybe one more piece. They're going to be but the West is loaded, Andy. The West is going to be. I mean, you want to talk about up and coming. I mean, they're really in position with young talent, and I think they're.
Well, that's why next year the Warriors. It's like I can see the Warriors really collapsing. I can see it really collapsing like House of Cards. I can see the Mavericks do.
But see, Draymond made that he was on the interview the other day. The owner does. He wasn't going to sit still. That guy can't stand to sit still.
He loves to win. He's very aggressive.
So they're going to do something. He's going to rebuild on the fly, whatever they're going to do. And I don't know how you do it, but I mean,
the Spurs, see, you made a good point. The Spurs, the Rockets, these are teams that are coming. You can feel it. They're coming. The Lakers now, Luka, they'll be there for a while. And it's like, in the East. So we should have back to our team. I will say, I think the Cavs got a 2 or 3 year window, though. They got to get it right. They got to start winning some games. A lot more pressure. Now, that's the other thing. That pressure notch got turned up. You got to really close this deal out. Get the 1 seed. Got to get to these finals, and you got to do some things.
And Andy, we'll wrap this up because you and I we could chat all night. But the biggest thing I think to get eyes back on the NBA, because we hear all these people, the product. One of the things I think that works with the Cavaliers' zone defense. These teams cannot hit a mid-range jumper.
No, they force you to, and the Cavs have started to rebound, which is the biggest dread of the zone. So the Cavs continue to rebound. It's double trouble. I mean, the only teams that really have given them fits are the Pacers. Like even the Celtics didn't really tear it up.
No, they were off. We were off, I think.
Oh, Mobley just didn't show up.
Off. But if we could get back to where we don't have even that Detroit game last night with these phantom whistles, if we could get back to real basketball, and I really would love to see us evolve back to true basketball, and I think you'll get more eyes on the product. I really, truly, and that's for another day. But I mean, God,
Well,
I mean,
the NBA got some lifts.
I'm standing like this, Andy, and you're 6 inches in front of me, and you pull up, and they blow a whistle. I mean, it's not. It's.
But then there's the times where Garland's losing his arm, and they don't call anything.
Right.
Garland's like getting just absolutely drilled. I'll tell you what, Jared Allen gets drilled. Mobley, they call some fouls. Allen and Garland can lose like a leg, and it's like, yeah, play on.
Yeah.
You see that a lot.
Yep.
Well, 81 minutes in. The Cavs are really good. The Browns stink. Now,
as usual.
So real quickly, there is a big story that's going to affect our Guardians. ESPN might be pulling out of their deal with MLB. And there's a lot of negotiations going on right now with it. Keep your eye on that. That hurts everyone in baseball. That is a big deal.
Huge.
If ESPN goes away. We'll have to see what happens with that.
That'll hurt.
I'll keep your eye on that. I really would keep your eye on that. I don't think that story's going away.
Definitely something to watch.
Yep. All right, Chalk Talk. Click and subscribe. Click and subscribe. Myles Garrett. Click and subscribe. Even you too. Come on. When you're playing for the Broncos, don't you want to hear what's going on in Cleveland? Come on. We will do. You better not fucking go to the Broncos.
No.
Throw up my lunch.
Atlanta Falcons.
Oh. I will guarantee Rob and I will do picks starting more often, the shorts.
Yes.
And we will do.
And we'll win. We will win.
God damn it, Nebraska. God damn it, Fighting Illini. You gotta bake by the rules.
Entertainment purposes only, not financial advice.
As Rob would say, pizza money only.
Pizza money only.
Rob there, I'm Andy here. Good night, goodbye. We'll do Super Bowl picks. We'll do a short segment on that.
Yes.
Super Bowl. Lots to talk about. Will Myles Garrett be here on Super Bowl Sundays at Brown? Of course he will.
Of course he will.
Of course he will.
Yes.
Of course. Right. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Take care.
Goodbye.